Ah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hi, my name is Reverend Short. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Please let me know if you can hear me. I had many problems this week with my audio interface. I had to do a complete reinstall of it. I absolutely love my Apollo Twin interface, but I did have some pretty serious problems this week. I think I rectified them all. So can you hear me, world? Good old YouTube delay. Let me know if you can hear me in the chat. I would appreciate it. So, once I see that, I will begin with some news for today. Big announcement today from a guitar brand. And then I shall move into either questions or I shall answer some viewers' comments in depth that I've had this week. All right. Hope you can hear me. Audio is good. Thank you, Thomas. That's great. Great news. Thank you. Like I said, I had some pretty radical issues this week with my audio interface, but now it's fixed. And if you have an Apollo Twin, I highly recommend it. And I also now know how to fix it. So hit me up if you have any problems. The weather here in New York is 93 degrees today. It's really hot. I've already showered twice today. And the time right now is 4:01 p.m. So welcome. And I'm only 0.2 away from 9K subscribers. So let's get down to it. Let's say hi to our friends in the chat. Of course, Lee was first again. So Lee is always first these days, which is good to see. That's what I like to see, Lee. Everyone should always be first here. David says, good afternoon, Aaron, and everyone in the chat. Good to see you, David. Thomas Nonsense is in Brisbane. So I'm impressed. What's the time there? Isn't it like 4 a.m. in Brisbane? So I'm always impressed that you're here when you're in Australia. Lee says hi. So that means that Lee wasn't here first. That means that Lee actually did that when I posted the chat, when I posted the stream, he did that, and then he pretended to be first, but he's actually not. Lee, I caught you out. Hi, Marco. Good to see you. Hi, Patsy Smith. Hi, Rosanna. Hi, Bernard Smith. Lee says hi to everybody. Thank you for that. Audio is good. Should be the same as usual. We can hear you good. Thank you. Good afternoon, Aaron Short Music and people. Sound check good. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, when I ask a question like that, there's always a 30-second delay to get an answer. Can't hear your lips moving, but no sound. Can't hear you lips moving, but no sound. I think he's being funny. Not funny, Lee. Sound is good. Audio is good. Hi, Rusty. How you doing? It's cold in the UK. Marco Godso, I just bought a Boss GT1. Okay, we have to see what that is. I'll look that up after the news. Remind me. The GT1. Is that the synthesizer? I think I've tried that. Let me know in the chat. Jim says it's 88 in Vermont. The good news is a cold front is moving through soon. Well, the bad news for me, Jim, is that there's a rain front moving into New York. And I think we have a wedding on Saturday in a tent. So I hope it's a good tent, whatever happens. Bimo says hi. Oh, not bad. 6:02 a.m. in Brisbane. I've been waking up at 6 a.m. lately too. It's good to get up nice and early, isn't it? Hi, Monkey Sweeper. Good to see you here. Okay, good stuff. So, I only have one piece of news this week, apart from the news about my interface, which I must remember. Do you ever get a problem with a piece of gear and it takes you hours to fix it? And then that problem happens again 6 months later and you've completely forgotten what it was. One tip I'll give you is if you use Skype with an audio interface with an external microphone, you have to use input 1 for Skype. You have to use input 1 or it doesn't recognize the microphone. And that happened to me this week. I couldn't figure out what was going on. But that's exactly what the problem was. I wasn't using input 1 on the interface. So now I've rewired my interface or rerouted it in the software so it's using input 1. And then I imagine it will happen again in 6 months and I will forget that again. Oh, it's the guitar processor. Well, I'm now going to jump over to Sweetwater. So I shall look it up there while we're over there. Because I like to see what you've been purchasing this week myself. So that's the Boss GT1. Okay. Let's go and see what Marco has been buying. And let us know why you purchased this particular processor. Please, in the chat. I will take us over to the desktop like this. There we go. And I'm going to use Sweetwater today for the news as well. So I will show you what I'm going to. Before I go to the news, I'm going to show you what Marco has been purchasing. Now, the Boss makes some good stuff. And this Boss GT1000 Core is very nice. That's $700. And next to it is the GT1. So this is $213. So it looks like the more... So it's kind of scaled down and affordable version of the GT1000. Is that right, Marco? Let's go in and take a closer look. So the Boss GT1, 62 very good reviews. And, okay, so you've got 3-foot switches and an expression pedal. That's cool. I have tried the 1000 and I did like it. If you look at the screen, Boss are using some pretty kind of low-tech screens in their gear, which is okay. Actually, some of my favorite products right now use these kind of screens. All the main gear I use actually uses these screens and not the fancy touch screens. So I think that's fine, especially if it keeps the cost down. I mean, that price is really good at $213. And I don't know about all the functionality of this unit, but it looks cool. You've got the built-in expression pedals. You haven't got to buy that separately. And always look on the back to see what connectors you have. So you've got USB connection, a power supply connection there, and then you've got your outputs are 1/4-inch jacks, not XLR, but that's fine. Most of these smaller pedals have those to save space. An aux-in input. So there's no MIDI or anything, but that would make it substantially more complicated. And when you're on Sweetwater, always click on View All Photographs. You get them in full quality and you get to see every picture that they have and some videos as well. So that's nice, Marco. Let us know what you think of that once you've had a chance to try it out. That would be cool. Now, the news for this week was Reverend guitars. So Reverend guitars a company that I've heard about a lot. In fact, my friend and yours, Maury Rutsch, used to sell Reverend guitars. I don't think he does anymore. He may have a couple left. But they're actually now having these for sale at Sweetwater. This is great news for Reverend guitars. I've never played one, but I've heard great things about them. Supposedly, they're really well-made guitars for the price. They have some interesting body shapes. Some of them use Fishman pickups. This is electric guitars, Fishman pickups. And I've heard great things. And I saw them at NAMM. They had a great display at NAMM. It was really cool. And I'm really happy for them that they're now at Sweetwater, because Sweetwater is a huge opportunity for any manufacturer, as you know. So, I would like to show you what they have. And in this video, in the description below in the video, I do have my link to Sweetwater. So go down there and click that and shop around if you want to. That's my affiliate link. But I'll also take you here on my screen so we can look at this together. 1 second. Like this. And I'm just going to type in Reverend. And this is all new. This is all new to Sweetwater. So here we go. This is it. Let's check out a few guitars. You tell me in the chat if there's anything you'd like me to focus on here in particular. Just tell me the model and I will show you. So I was looking at this for a while. The Greg Koch signature kind of, what they call it, the Gristle Master. So this one's at a bit of a higher price. This is $1,900. But I was looking at these for a while because these guitars are slightly larger, so I imagine they would look good on me. I'm not sure about the colors. I don't know if they've changed these colors or if this is a different model to what I looked at before. But these colors seem to be different to me. So I might actually might be a different guitar completely. But this style with the kind of rectangle in the center block there and slightly larger body, I was looking at one time before after I saw him play at the NAMM show. I love on Sweetwater they show you the weight of the guitars, you see, and the pictures of the actual guitar. So if you are someone that really values a lightweight guitar, you can find one. So that one's under £8, or £7.13, and you can click on it and you can see the exact photographs of that guitar, which is really, really cool. Really cool. Let's look at some more. There's a bunch of models on here. There's one that I'm interested in that I saw on my friend Nathan's channel, Dr. McFarland. It's the Strat with the noiseless pickups. Ah, this is the one I was looking at. My apologies. That was the wrong model I was showing you. This is what I was looking at right here. So they got one. I mean, look at the weight differences here. They vary quite a lot. This one is £7. This one is £7 15 ounces. Now, actually, I can't believe that this one is £7 on the right, because that's really light for a guitar like this, and that's a really good weight. They also have demo models, so if you want to get a demo model, you can save some money as well. So if you get that one, you're going to get it for $15.29, and they usually have photographs of those guitars as well. But yeah, this is the one that I was looking at. Problem is, I have a blue guitar now, and this is very similar in looks, but needless to say, I never actually bought one, but it just looked like a really cool guitar. And the price is right, you know, the price is really good. Remember, this is also a signature model, and at $1,700, I think that's great. So this is the one that I was looking at before. Yeah. Let me go to the chat and see what you're saying over here. So Marco said, I just bought the Boss GT1. Jim says it's 88 degrees. Oh yeah, we got there. Hang on, I'm behind. Old says hi. Good to see you, Old. Oh, here he is. Dr. McFarland says, yay for Reverend. I have the Gristle Master. It's a great guitar. Yeah, he's got a few of these guitars. And like I said, I've heard of them before. I just never made the jump. You know, I've always heard great things about them. And actually, after seeing them at the NAMM show in person, they do look really well made, I have to say. I'm a bit of a brand snob with Fender and Gibson, but I need to branch out some more. Are these the kind of Cole Clark of the electric guitar world? Maybe. Maybe. And they have basses too. And I want to find that Strat. You can kind of see what kind of guitars these are. Well, I don't know. It's not. No, I won't say that. There's some unique shapes in here as well. This is a cool finish. Look at that purple. That's really nice. And again, look at the price on that. $1,200. That's really good. Really, really good. So they got one here that's £7 5 ounces. So I tend to go for lightweight guitars myself. I'm quite obsessed with this. I actually was going to make a video on shopping for a guitar by weight. because I do think it matters if you're playing gigs with these things. So there's like a strap body one too. I want to show that on the channel because it's got the Fishman noiseless pickups, and you know the whole noiseless pickup thing with the Strat is quite something I'm quite into. I'm a traditionalist and I don't want to go that route because often this noiseless stuff does not sound as good. At the same time, sometimes that noise, especially in a live stream, can drive you insane, like really insane. Check out this one. This is cool. Interesting. Different. Probably not for me, but they've got some pretty unique looking stuff. And they've got some very traditional looking stuff too. So I'm going to keep, here this is it. The Gil Paris, right. $1,700. Again, it's a signature guitar. So you're always going to pay a bit more for a signature guitar because obviously the artist is getting paid as they should because they're using their name on the guitar, right? So the maple fretboard is here and the price is the same as this fretboard here. I would probably go for this one because I prefer more of a rosewood looking fretboard. And I kind of wish there were other colors. I'm not really a fan of all black, even though I wear black all the time. I think for looks wise, this isn't really my thing. What interests me with this guitar really is the price and the pickups, because these are the Fishman pickups that you charge up, like on the Acoustic, and supposedly they are noiseless, or at least low noise. You know, I find even noiseless pickups have a lot of noise sometimes. Not a lot, but less, but they're not noiseless. The phrase noiseless is a bit, you know, it's not quite the right phrase, because I've never played a pickup that is completely noiseless. Even humbuckers can have noise, depending on what you're playing through and where you are. So there you go. Check those out in your own time. I left an affiliate link down in my description. Have a click on that. If you're shopping for anything on Sweetwater, click on that, and I do get the commission at no cost to you if you're in the USA. All right, so I'm going to come back and see what's happening over here. And that is the news of the week. Eventually, I'll have some nice screens going as well with the news of the week. All right, so he says those Fishman pickups aren't cheap either. Well, this is a good point, Nathan. If you're looking for a guitar and looking at prices, consider what they're using on those guitars. So if they're using, let's take an acoustic guitar, for example. If the acoustic guitar has a Baggs Anthem in it, well, that's $300 right there, isn't it? So bear that in mind on the price. If you're thinking about the price of the guitar, bear in mind what you're getting the hardware-wise. Definitely. So if you Google those Fishman pickups and a set of those that is say $500 and the guitar is $1,500, you can think, well, there's $500 into that guitar already. And as long as I like them and I'm not going to turn around and remove them, then it's going to be worthwhile. Because that would be kind of annoying if you remove the pickups and then put something else in, and then you've lost $500. So I do think about this stuff as well. Bimo says, thumbs up if you can. Thank you. That would help me if you did that. And Dr. McFarlane says the Sensei is amazing. Yeah, I've never really played one of these guitars. So I'm not really recommending them to people that are watching. I know that Dr. McFarlane likes them. I know some of my friends here in New York like them. And I know that Maury used to sell them, and he doesn't sell stuff he doesn't like. So I've got a great feeling about them. I have to try them at some point. All right, so Jim says, Aaron, have you ever been to Richard's Guitars in Avon? They carry Alden guitars, which are unavailable here. The guitars come with a Brad Clark Supernatural preamp. You know, Jim, the one pickup system that I haven't yet reviewed on my channel that I really want to is the Supernatural by Brad Clark, because Brad Clark was partly responsible. I don't know the full story, but partly responsible for the AP5 in the Maton and the Cole Clark three-way system, which are two of my favorite pickups of all time. Those two and the Anthem, I just love. And I would love to try that system. I just have to get a guitar that has it in order to do that, of course, right? So I'd love to check that out at some point. I've never been to Richard's Guitars. I've seen some of his videos. He's done some videos on, like when I reviewed the Loudon Ed Sheeran guitar, he made a video on that, sort of kind of stating that he's not really a fan of that guitar. So he's got, I watch his videos. He's pretty opinionated, and that's fine. That's good stuff. I've never been to his store. I like that he has a store, and I like that he sells different brands that other stores don't, but I've never actually played those brands. Speaking of guitar brands, I may have an interview coming up in the next couple of weeks with a brand new brand, and I'm really, really excited about this. And it's kind of a personal thing for me, so I'll explain it to you later. I'm not going to say anything yet because it hasn't been confirmed. The Padded Pedal Room is here. This is a new friend of mine. So there's a channel called Metalhead Hippie, and I saw this guy on the Tone King's channel. He was a guest, and I subscribed, and I thought that this channel was all about metal, but it's not. Well, this is a great channel. Check this out, Metalhead Hippie. What he does is he does like a 5-hour live stream, which is a really long time, but you can just drop in whenever you like. He's got a great community, and what they do is they play videos from the viewers. So people submit their songs, and he plays them on his channel, and it's really great. It's a great time. It almost reminds me of like being a kid and listening to Radio 1 when they play the new single from Oasis or something, or nowadays we're fed the music, aren't we? We're like, listen to this song, listen to this pop song. This YouTube channel is really getting new music out there, and I really enjoy it. And I really enjoy it because it's stuff that I would never find, that I would never listen to. And some of the acts he's had on are just absolutely amazing. So I love nothing more than to see his live and just drop in there. Everyone's really friendly. Everyone says hello. It's like here, great community. And they just watch each other's videos, and it's all about the music. And I think that's really, really should be supported. So check out Metalhead Hippie and subscribe if you like that kind of thing. So Jim, that pickup is on my list. The only thing holding me back about that pickup is you do have to kind of route out your saddle. It's got that same undersaddle that the Maton has, where it's going to be right in your guitar. So there are some modifications to the guitar, but it's the closest you're going to get to having an AP5 style pickup in a Martin, for example. So it is something I'd like to try at one point, but that's going to have to wait until, I guess I was going to say funds allow, but more like finding the pickup and finding the guitar and installing it. And I need someone to install it and all this kind of stuff. I need to research it. What I'd love to do is to get hold of a guitar that has the Supernatural, so I could review the Supernatural, send the guitar back to the company, and then if I love the Supernatural, install it into one of my guitars. That's what I'd like to do. So Monkey Sweeper says, the noiseless pickups on my telly pickup picked up interference from the TV and whatnot. There you go. You're right. The noiseless pickups I've had have still had noise. Isn't that interesting? Especially depending on what you're playing through and what the noiseless pickups are. Noiseless doesn't always mean noiseless. That's the weird thing. The pickup in the Acoustic is called noiseless, I believe. But it's not noiseless. It's noise reduced. It's kind of false advertising in a way. Oh yeah, and so the Padded Pedal Room is a friend of this guy, Metalhead Hippie, and I saw they did a video on the MX5. I actually just got an MX5. I had a review of that. Remember I had that review of the Yamaha AG Stomp acoustic pedal? I bought that used from Guitar Center. And what I did was I decided I'll never sell it on Reverb. I decided no one will want it, and it was kind of beaten up because it was used. And there's a special this week at Guitar Center where if you trade in, you get 15% off your next purchase. And I think that's because next week it's going to be the sales, right? Labor Day sales. Perhaps I'll do a video on that next week. So that seemed like a great deal to me. So I got, and I know the manager's there too. So I got a really good price for my AG Stomp. I got 15% off, and I got the MX5, which is actually the same layout as what Marco purchased, and I got a great price on it. I decided I'll review it, and I'll either keep it if I love it, and if I don't love it, I'll sell it on. I guess I'll get back what I paid for it. So that'll be my first Headrush product that I reviewed on the channel. And thank you to Padded Pedal Room and Dr. McFarland for getting me interested in that product. That's the only modeler I hadn't yet tried, the Headrush stuff. So I'm excited to try that out soon. Lee says, shopping for guitar by weight. Go from Martin, you'll have a really long wait. Oh, by wait time. Yeah, so it's very hard to find gear. I think stuff's coming more into stock now. I'm seeing more stock around. But yes, like, for example, the Martins are really out of stock right now. And so, yeah, that's a double entendre. No, it's... Tell me, that can be today's topic. How important is the weight of a guitar to you? I will say this. I've picked up some acoustic guitars that are too light, and that's annoying. If there is such a thing. I think there can be a thing as too light because it feels like the guitar's gonna like break. And it can be a thing of a guitar being too heavy because you just feel like if you play a 3-hour, 4-hour gig, it's just gonna be a bit too heavy for you. That could be a problem for me. So I really like a certain weight. But of course, the weight I like for an acoustic guitar is different to the weight that I like for an electric guitar. They're different things. He says, very high quality parts. Yeah, they look great quality. Pooh Ninja's here, all the way from outer space. Good to see you. Brad is here. Hi, Brad. Brad, how you get on with the Voice Live 3? Brad purchased the Voice Live 3 after I recommended it on my channel. What do you think of that pedal? Beamo says, good one, Lee, for the joke. Yes, very funny, Lee. Very funny. I'll even give you one of these for doing that. Good job. And of course, Pooh Ninja knows Padded Pedal Room because he frequents every channel on YouTube, which is great. They're chatting over there. Looking forward to the weekend. Yep, I have a gig this weekend. So I've been learning lots of new songs for this gig, and also getting my gear ready to play this gig because I'm doing a band gig. It's been a while since I did a band gig, so I have to do the sound and everything. And of course, you mustn't forget any cables because when you do a band gig and you're taking 2 monitors, 2 PA speakers, cables, power, stands, and you're driving 2 hours with it, you can't afford to forget one cable can be the difference between playing the gig and not, right? Pooh Ninja, yes, brand new brand, and they're going to be on my channel, but we've kind of confirmed it, but we have to do some testing with the internet and everything. And I've got I do have a personal connection to this as well, and I'm really excited about it. And it's going to be quite unique as well for reasons I won't tell you yet. You have to wait and see. Brad says, I've been rehearsing using my Voice Live 3 Extreme and my S1 Pro using my custom-made Cole guitar. That's not a Cole Clark, that's a Cole. It sounds really good and such a compact arrangement. I'll tell you this, Brad, haven't yet made this video. As you know, I've been doing a lot of coverage on JBL lately. And I'm a fan of the JBL Compact, right? The Eon Compact. Did you know that the Eon Compact, the Eon Compact and the other JBL speakers, they have one feature the S1 Pro lacks, and they have a USB port. And this USB port can provide power. And this power can charge your phone. It's very powerful. It can charge your phone. It can also power, with the correct cable, the Voice Live 3 Extreme. This is really great. So a few weeks ago, I took my JBL Eon Compact to an outside party. I also took my I took the Play Acoustic because it's even smaller, even lighter. And I actually had that thing charged up and it powered the pedal as well. So I had looping, effects, tuner, amplifier, all completely wireless. And I even used the wireless from my guitar. So the only cable I really had was a cable. I had the cable that connects the output of the TC to the amp. So there was one cable. But apart from that, everything was completely wireless and power free. That was really cool. And that's why one thing I love about the JBL stuff. I will say that. Dr. McFarlane says, Francis, what? Francis, give me some context. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, I bought 2 guitars from Richard's Guitars from his shop. So have you met Richard, Brad? How is the store? So better for Brad to tell us how the store is than for me. I've only seen his videos online. Oh, I had no idea. Metalhead Hippie can go for 10 plus hours. Oh, I didn't know that. I saw the other night he did a 5-hour stream or something. I didn't know he goes for that long. Wow. Says hi to Nathan. Very cool. We enjoy having you hang with us at Metalhead Hippies. Yeah, I want to get one of my songs featured on there soon. Padded Pedal Room's gonna hit me up. Pooh Ninja, you got that right. And Jim says to Brad, did you try an Auden or Duwina? I don't know these brands, so I probably pronounced the name wrong. Lots of fun collaborations from. Oh yeah, he does these. I'm a new subscriber, but he does these things like collaborations. I think he does like genre of the month or something. Really cool stuff. Padded Pedal Room says, my pleasure. Thank you. And it says, shoot some video of your trip to the sale. Try your new mic. To the sale? What sale? Oh, no. The sale. You mean the sales next week? I don't think I'll be going to them. I like to shop online when there's sales. The new mic. Yes. Well, I'm trying to set up a thing with Spoon Phillips where we go to a vintage Martin store in maybe Brooklyn or New York, and I film there, and I film like the guitars, our reaction, trying them, playing them. So that's why I bought the new mic. I still have the mic, and all the tests have been great, so I look forward to using that soon. So we're talking about weight over here. My Martin J40 is kind of heavy, but the sound is just mind-boggling. Yeah, and it's all relative. I think if you just buy one acoustic, you won't even think about this stuff. It's only if you play something like a mahogany guitar or a lighter model where you realize that there are some differences. So it's not really worth getting too hung up about. Tone is everything. Old says, after playing Taylor's, I switched to my first Martin 0018. I couldn't believe how light it felt and how easy to play. I love the sound. Addicted to Martins ever since. Yes, well, that's, yeah. So a 0008, an 18 series Martin is mahogany. And mahogany is a very, very light wood. So any mahogany guitar you get is going to be really light. Now, the Taylor you had may have been mahogany, but let's say, for example, your Taylor was rosewood. If you were used to that and it was a GPC, Grand Performance body, and then you got a 0018 smaller body with mahogany, that's going to be very light. In fact, that's going to be like a feather, light as a feather. Because even the Dreadnought D18s are quite light to me. So a 0018 is even lighter. Now, I have that guitar here. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it, but it's the guitar that I bought used to try the Dazzo pickup. I've still got to make that review. So once I've reviewed both the guitar and the pickup, I don't know if I'll keep it. I personally prefer rosewood OMs, but the thing is, the rosewood OM does have a very different sound. It's a bit heavier and has a very different sound. I don't think an OM is ever going to feel too heavy. I think for me, it's more, let's say, a Dreadnought. So a mahogany Dreadnought versus a rosewood Dreadnought, you're going to feel a difference. Or let's say a Les Paul. Les Pauls are very heavy, right? So a Les Paul might be 9 or 10 pounds. A Strat might be 8.5 down to 7 pounds. So that's why some people don't like Les Pauls and prefer like a lightweight Strat. So yeah, I think that if you want a light guitar, definitely a 0018 is going to be very light. You're not going to find a heavy 0018, I don't think. I like acoustic guitars to be light, but not so light it feels flimsy. That's exactly how I feel. So I remember playing, there was a Rain song I had that I absolutely loved, and I sold it on stupidly because the frets were wearing. And then I bought another one, and it was much lighter. It didn't have a pickup, so that obviously lost a few ounces. And then the build of this one was lighter, and I just felt it was too light almost. And that sounds like a weird thing to say, but there is a perfect weight for a guitar. And then my vintage that I have now, vintage Rain song, is great. And that's a bit heavier. I don't even notice it. Brad says no because of the JBL. Oh, Francis is my name. You see, I never know what people's real names are unless they're like Brad and they put it fully on the screen. And I never like to say people's real names. It feels very impersonal not to use people's full names, but I don't like to say it because sometimes I guess people want to stay anonymous, right? If someone sends a picture of a guitar for me to show on the channel, I don't want to say, this is Brad Stock's guitar and he lives at 123 Nowhere Street. Sorry, Brad. So that's why I don't like to say people's names. But if you're okay with it, I will use Francis from now on. Nice to meet you fully. It was a couple of years ago, I bought an Alvarez and a Gonan. He was very friendly, did a good setup for the guitars, although I got my own luthier to do it again. So why was that, Brad? Why did you do it again? What did you want that was different? Hi, Heather. How's Chicago today? Monkey Sweeper. I also have a Brazilian Rosewood Breedlove. It's lighter but equally amazing in a different way. Well, anyone with a Brazilian Rosewood anything gets one of these. Yeah. That's really cool. Brad says hi to Heather. Patsy says hi to Heather. Brad says hi to Patsy. And Lee says, my old Yamaha feels like it weighs a ton after playing my D42. Sometimes the more expensive guitars are more expensive because they're so lightly cut and braced. And sometimes the more affordable guitars are made heavier and not braced, or maybe even not even scallop braced. So they do kind of weigh more, but not always. Not always. Hi, perfect person. Good to see you here again. And Old says, aren't some of the new Squires hollowed out for weight reduction? Yeah, I heard that. They are. So do you want to jump over and check out some Squires then? I do like to do my weekly shopping on here live with you all. So let's have a look here. First of all, if you're new here, please subscribe, ring the bell. I really would appreciate it. Help me get up to my goal of 9,000 subscribers. Yeah, 30,000 subscribers is my real goal. But I'm just about 30 away from 9,000 now. So that would be great if you're not subscribed. All right, let me jump over here to the desktop again. Let's do some more shopping together. This is fun, isn't it? So Squire. Did I say squishy? I don't want a squishy guitar. I want a Squire guitar. Okay, let's take a look. Do you know which series it is? I don't. You know how I can tell though? I'll be able to tell by the weight, won't I? Look at the prices on these Squires. I don't think I've ever played one, but I mean, 230 bucks. That is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. I'd love to compare one to like a USA Fender at some point. Now, as we were talking about earlier, with some of these guitars, everything is sold out. These ones actually say they're in stock, but they don't have the weight on there. So that's not going to help me. I need it to tell me the weight of the guitar. And also let me know what you think about hollowing out a guitar. Like with a Les Paul, a lot of people hollow out a Les Paul guitar to make it lighter, but then people say it affects the tone too much. So this is nice. It's a bit more money, but $450 here. Here we go. So these obviously are not weight reduced, but look at the differences here: 8 pounds 10 ounces down to 7 pounds 7 ounces. You see, that is, talking about a pound in weight. So I don't know. To me, that's pretty substantial for the same model guitar. With the weight reduced, is there a certain model here that's actually weight reduced? I don't know. I'm just hunting around. Unless you're talking about the ones that are actually hollowed out completely. Problem is, there's the solo stock right now. It doesn't even say. They don't actually have any. So that's not really very useful to me. Okay. Let me know in the chat if you know what the model is. 7.5 pounds, all aluminium body. Aluminum if you're in the USA, like I am. Aluminum acoustic. Does anyone make those? I keep getting ads for the carbon fiber guitar. Yeah, which carbon fiber guitar? So carbon fiber guitars are excellent. I do like the Rain Song a lot, as you know. I have got a Rain Song. Aluminum, I don't know. I've seen them. There was one that was reviewed a few months ago. It had some issues, and they said they were going to improve it. So we'll keep an eye out for that. I'll be in Scotland next week. I hope I can watch from Scotland. No, you have to be in. You can only be in the UK, Chaza. Sorry, Scotland doesn't allow me because I play a bad cover of 500 Miles. That's just a joke. Of course you can. Hope to see you here. Oh, look at Brad. I just got my own guy to check out my guitars. He knows just the way I like it. Yeah, I always say that, Brad. If it's like I always say it's like a haircut. Once you find someone that cuts your hair well, you want to go to them all the time. So clearly I'm still hunting for my hairdresser, as you can see. And I'm not hunting for my guitar setup person because I have someone here that I really like. Oh, the Affinity series. The Squire Affinity series. Affinity Stratocaster. Or do you mean like a Telecaster that's got like the hole in it, been hollowed out? I'll just take a quick look at the Squire Affinity. I'll let you know. Problem is they don't have any. They're all sold out. And I'm not surprised because at the end of the day, the price on those is so good. Under 300 bucks for a Squire Strat. I'm sure they're great. I'm sure they're great guitars. Even though I haven't played one. because they look quality, and for that price, I mean, it's just amazing, isn't it? But they don't have any at Sweetwater, so I can't answer that question right now. I was just looking quickly to see. They do not have any. Crazy. So there is still some very low stock around. Ever carried a 20-foot piece of mahogany? It's very heavy. Yeah, it's all relative, isn't it? It's warm in Chicago. Like I was saying, here in New York City, we have 93. And that's not even the feel like. That's just the temperature. It might be even hotter than that outside. All the wind is 3.4 miles an hour and 52% chance of rain. Or is that humidity? So I got a new toy. I'm not sure what that means yet. Okay, how do you know I live there? Live where? This lag on the chat is a real problem, isn't it? I missed those comments anyway. Let me come back. Padaperum, no I didn't. There were a few issues that need to be worked out. Oh, the Reddit, yeah. So Dr. McFarlane bought a Reddit guitar at NAMM and had a few things that they're figuring out with him. Yep, these things happen. And that's great when they stand behind the product. And what I like is if you get a product that you don't love or you find some kind of issue with, and they just say, okay, no problem. Thanks for telling us. We're going to address this. We'll look into it. We'll let you know if we make changes, and then you can look at it again. I think that's the way companies should be. I think that's the way a lot of companies are now, because do you really have a choice with the internet? If I come on here and say this cup of tea had a real problem, then people watching this are not going to buy it, are they? By the way, this tea doesn't have a real problem. It's my favorite tea. Phil McKnight had Sweetwater Plek Esquire Affinity and liked it. Yeah, that was a great video. So he bought Esquire Affinity. He had Sweetwater Plek it, so where they put it through the machine and it levels out the frets, like the high-end guitars, like Martin do that now too. And he said it came out great. So you do that, you put on a fresh set of strings that you love, have it set up. Let's face it, I'm a snob, right? I'm a snob, but these things they're all wood, aren't they? And you know, I was watching a video of his as well about the Mexican Stratocasters versus the USA, and he said a lot of the parts are the same. In fact, sometimes the parts are better on the Mexican ones. So bear that in mind when you're shopping. Classic Vibe 70 Walnut HSS is £6, 7 ounces, and so pretty. Wow, that's cool. Thank you. Oh, £6, 14. That's still really good. That's really light. What a great guitar that would be for a gig if you're in a wedding band or something. And it's HSS as well. So it's got the humbucker in there. Classic Vibe 70. HSS. Oh, yeah, you're right. So look, I mean, this is just incredible. This guitar looks great. It's under $500. Oh, they have some. They have some. Oh, let me take you over here. Look at this. It looks great. Look at that. Look at the finish. It's got your humbucker there. So you've got that for your classic rock. And then you've got your in-between positions, which I assume are silent. So there you go. Don't bother with the silent pickups. You don't need them. And then we have some weights here. If you want one that's a bit heavier. This is crazy though to me, Pooh Ninja. £8, 3 ounces. And they've got one which is £6, 14 ounces. I mean, there's such a huge difference in weight. Now, this one does have the unmatched body, which may bother some people. But if you're willing to overlook that and you just want something really light, I mean, a Strat under £7 for $4.50 is just amazing. And it makes me question why I look at guitars that are so much more money than these, right? That's absolutely amazing. And then if that does bother you, let's look at the £7. You know, just go up to the next one. So if the look of that body bothers you, the next one is only a few ounces heavier, and it's kind of a better looking match there, in my opinion. But you know, the great thing here is you can look over the entire guitar and see. I mean, so look, you could buy this. You know what you could do? You could have Sweetwater Plek it. You could put some locking tuners on there. You could sand down the neck if you don't like that lacquered neck. And there you go. I mean, you've got a great guitar there for even with those upgrades, maybe $800, but a great guitar, a great gigging guitar. I'm not personally a huge fan of the 70s style headstock. My Telecaster has that. I'm not a big fan. I like the more traditional. That is traditional. I like the smaller headstocks myself. But what a great deal, you know, $450 for that. And you look at something like an Ultra HSS. Look at the money. Look at the difference. And I know I'm not saying these are not worth it, because obviously they're made with different things, right? But look, they got the Ultra here. That's going to be a pound heavier. So first thing you got to ask yourself is, do I want it to be a pound heavier if I'm playing the wedding band for 5 hours? The next thing you want to ask yourself is, do I want to spend $2,000 on something I'm taking to a wedding where there might be people knocking it over? And then there was one more thing, but I've forgotten what it was. But but yeah, I mean, I'm sure this guitar is just going to be, well, I'm not sure. I haven't played either of them. I would assume this guitar will feel really quality and be a great guitar, but you've got to factor in the price, and you've got to factor in the weight, because these things do matter as well, don't they? Of course they do. So yeah, I like these Ultras. They have the noiseless pickups. A lot of people don't like noiseless. So this is the headstock that I like. I like this headstock. With this, you get the locking tuners already, which is cool. I don't know if the pickups are better. You'd assume they are. These are noiseless pickups, which you might not even want, but I think that's cool. I do want to try those. A lot of people don't like them though. And then you've got the sculpted heel, which feels nice when you go up the neck and play up the neck. This is a great guitar, but look at the price difference. You could have 4 Squires or one of these. What would you get? Let me know in the chat what you would do. All right, so, oh my goodness me. Hi Philip, how you doing? Did you get a Bose system? Did you tell me? Feels like 106 in Texas. That's nuts. Wow. 95 in Oklahoma. Not far off 9,000. That's right, Brad. Look, I even have this now. This really motivates me, this thing, because when I come in here every day, I'm like, yes, come on, another video to come out. Poo Ninja, that's what I weighed when I was born. Every bit of wood is, yes, of course. Every bit of wood is different. Yeah. That's why guitars all weigh different amounts. There are quite a few lightweight woods which are inexpensive as they aren't used as much. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the names. They can make really light instruments. I briefly owned a jazz bass under £7. Well, that's impressive. That's really impressive. But the question today was, does weight matter to you when you buy a guitar? And you know what I'm going to do while we're talking? I'm going to put that into an anonymous poll. I love these polls because they are anonymous, which is really, really cool, because you can say what you really feel and no one's going to be any the wiser, as we say. So let me set this up here. Is the weight of a guitar important to you? Yes or no? And at the end of the chat, I'll tell you what the results were. So yeah, again, be honest, because that poll is completely anonymous. So you can be completely honest there. I know it's not the most adventurous poll that I could do as an anonymous poll, but there we go. 21 frets is a no-go for me. Got to have 22 frets. You got to get that last note up there on your screaming solo, Dr. McFarland. Most guitars could do with £100 or £100 or $130 at current exchange rate fret level. After that, many guitars play similarly well. Yeah, I think we've spoke about this before, Real Ting, how you could buy a cheaper guitar, have a really great setup done on it, and it plays incredibly, whereas you could buy an expensive guitar that still needs a setup. So that is definitely worth considering. Definitely. Poo Ninja says the actual guitar you're planning to get, not just the XYZ off the shelf. You can see the one you want. Thanks, Sweetwater. Yeah, I love Sweetwater. I love it. And they have a great policy. If you get it and for some reason there's a problem or you don't like it, they do have a very good, they'll work with you. They'll help you get what you want to get. And that's really great too. Because like I said, the other week at NAMM, when I played a certain guitar, I think it was the Martin vintage guitar. What's it called? The reissue guitars they have. I just connected with that guitar. I then went and played one in Guitar Center and didn't like it as much. So why is that? That's a question for another day. Philip Watson says, not that I need it, but I'd like a D28 to round out the collection. Standard D28 unscalloped bracing. Good use one, preferably under 3K. Well, that's good to know, Philip Watson. If I hear of anything, I'll let you know. Old says, have to wait a while to get my first electric. I just tried a 2009 0028 Eric Clapton at a local dealer. Never thought I'd like the mod V-neck, but fell in love with it and put it on hold. Oh. Does that mean you're buying that? We've spoke a lot about the Eric Clapton on here, and we spoke a lot about the V-necks on here. We're very, what's the word I'm looking for? Split. We're very split on this V-neck thing. I've had a couple, and that's not for me. Having said that, I used to think the narrow nut was not for me, and now I'm absolutely fine with it now. So that's a very personal thing. The neck on the guitar is definitely something you have to try. For example, the Squiers I was showing you may have a neck that I don't like. And that's one thing that Sweetwater can't show you. It can't show you how the neck is going to feel in the hand. That's something you really have to play in person, I find. So, yeah. Jim says, I posted the Aaron Short Music YouTube link on the 2 Martin Facebook groups. I remember, maybe someone subscribed. I appreciate that, Jim. You know, for the longest time, when I go live on a Monday, talking about Martin guitars on here, I've been posting it in those groups. And what I find is that it doesn't work. When I post to a group and say to people, hey, I'm doing this show about this content, come and hang out with us, no one really does it. It doesn't really work. And I have a theory that maybe that's because it's me posting it. So if you can do that, if you know that I do Martin Chat on a Monday and you're in a Martin forum or a Martin Facebook group, if you could say you had a great time this week on the thing, maybe people will be more likely to come because it's not me inviting them myself. And the same thing like with my concerts and with this live stream or even my videos. If you could do me, the biggest favor you could actually do me at all is just to share my content. So, or even if I play your video on a show or show your picture or something like that, tell your friends it was on, ask them to check out the channel and subscribe if they like it. That would be great. So yeah, if you're in a Martin guitar group and they're talking about, are there any shows about Martin guitars, or even just talking about, say, an OM 28, and we've just talked about one. If you could say, I was just watching the show on Monday and I really enjoy it, you should check it out too. That, for me, I think is really valuable. Brad has a standard 0028 and loves it. But does that have the V-neck on it, Brad? A Bose system. What's that, Philip? You got one? Or not? I have a Strandberg and a copy of a Strandberg which the previous owner had refretted, had bare knuckles put in, and plays and sounds incredible now. That's a topic for another day. Should you change the pickups in the guitar you purchase? Sometimes I've had guitars that I purchased and changed the pickups, and the problem can be either I miss, a mistake, and it can be an expensive mistake, because what if you want to sell it on? And the problem I find is when you sell gear on that you've modified, they use it against you. Like, well, it's not the original pickup, so I'm going to pay you less. And you say, yeah, but these are better. I paid more money for them. Yeah, but they're not the original ones. So do bear that in mind. I go for quality rather than quantity these days. I take the Ultra rather than 4 Squiers. I have 2 Ultra Strats and Ultra Telly. They're worth every cent. Yeah, that is my kind of feeling as well, Thomas. But not to overlook the other guitars. I'm just trying to make a point, really, that there are affordable guitars out there that are excellent. And I'm also just telling myself not to overlook those, because I'm trying to tell myself not to dismiss them just because of maybe the brand or the price. Right? I think we should bear that in mind. The more affordable gear now is getting really good because the quality of everything is coming up so much than years ago. But I do agree with you. I personally would rather have an Ultra Strat. Now, which Ultra Strat do you have? Do you have the HSS or the SSS? And does it have the noiseless pickups in there in your Strat? And do you like them? Because I keep seeing people say they do not like the noiseless. I haven't tried them yet. How does it feel in the hands? That's what I go by, not weight. Okay. I think tone has got to be the most important. I mean, looks are important to me. I'll say it. I'll be shallow, and and feel is really important. It's got to feel good. I mean, if it feels good, it looks good, and it sounds great, and that's it, isn't it? Old says, Brad, I would have gone that route, but I'm more comfortable with a 2¼ inch bridge spacing. Not many Martins offer that. And Brad says, are Soundhole sniffer mugs going to be available in the UK? They are available. They're available worldwide. If you go to if you go to my Teespring, I'll put it up on the screen for you. So if you go to that address, teespring.com/stores/Aaron Short Music, I don't ship them from here. They ship from Teespring. So if you order a mug in the UK, they'll ship it to you. You might have to wait a little bit of a while, but yeah, you can buy them anywhere. Australia, anywhere you want. Thank you, Brad. Another poll, V-neck or mod low oval? Let's save that for the Monday show. I would go for modified low oval myself. They have always been available here. Yep, they have. Thanks, Aaron. You may find maybe I will, Phil. I'm like my ears are always to the ground for these things, you know. I'm always looking for the deals and for the guitars, and that's another reason why I started the channel, because I can let you know. You know, if I don't take the deal, I can pass it on to you. Just kidding. I better. Yes, you better, Brad. And then send me a picture holding it. I don't know why I don't have mine today. Send a picture like this. And I'll show it on the show. Throw some thumbs up there. Yep, that's it. Like the video, subscribe, ring the bell, and share with your friends. They are excellent quality. Yes, they are. My mug has lasted well, Brad. In England, mug means face. So he's going to make a joke, I'm sure, about that. No, round neck. See, so what you need to do is, because we have a 30-second delay in the chat, and then as I'm talking about topics, I get even further delayed, obviously. When you type something in the chat, you need to give me like full context. This happens to me as well when I'm in other people's chats. If you just type something replying to what the person's just said, the chances are they'll see it 5 or 10 minutes later and will have forgotten what they said before, and none of it makes any sense. Always keep the original pickups and put them back. Yeah, great point. And then sell the aftermarket ones separately or put them in different. Yes, totally. I learned that lesson too. Do not try to sell on a guitar with the improvements that you've made, because to a buyer, those improvements are not improvements. They're a way to tell you that it's not original anymore and it's worth less money. Definitely. Oh, very, very good. Philip Watson bought the Bose S1 Pro. I think it'll suit my needs perfect. That is a great product. I love the JBL Compact as well, but the Bose S1 Pro is also excellent. Where do I get one? So it's on the screen, Brad. Can you see it? teespring.com/stores/Aaron Short Music. Teespring.com is the place. Thomas Nonsense says, my Ultra Strats are SSS with noiseless pickups. I like the pickups, but I'm not a tone junkie on a never-ending quest. Oh, what are you trying to say, Thomas? What are you trying to say about me? They sound like a Strat and they do the job I want. Yeah, I mean, it's all a trade-off, isn't it? Vintage SSS pickups are great because they are vintage. They got a vibe. Noiseless HSS pickups, maybe... So they used to lose some high end, which bugs some people. They're getting better all the time. But if you're streaming or recording, you sometimes need that. You need that reduction in noise. I have a theory on this, though. I have a theory with Strats. If you get the pickups where the in-between position is quiet, I actually, noise cancelling, I actually find them to be more noise cancelling than the noise cancelling pickups. So there we go. Let's say we've got 5 pickups, so positions on our Strat. The 2 in between on those Strats are going to be noiseless. So straight away you're good, right? You've then got the other 3. So I'm trying to be careful what I do with my hand. So these 2 are noiseless anyway. So that means you've got noise on the bridge pickup. You've got noise on the middle position, which I like, by the way. I love the middle position on a Strat. And the neck position, you have got some buzzing on those. And the amount of buzz depends on the pickup and what you're plugging into, right? Well, I have this theory lately that if you have an HSS guitar, which is great for like a cover band, then the humbucker is going to be noiseless anyway, because it's a humbucker, it's bucking the hum. These two are noiseless. So therefore, only two of those positions are going to have noise. And does it really matter? Like, some people don't even use the middle pickup. That means only the neck pickup will have noise. So is it worth even getting noiseless pickups in that situation? Over to you. Over to Real Ting, because he is a Strat fanatic. Good price. Yeah, I think the prices are going up on the Soundhole Sniffer merchandise in September, but they also tell me the quality is going up as well. So take your pick. Do you want to pay less money, more money? Do you want to get high quality or lesser quality? Hi, Tone Guy. Good to see you. We missed you on Monday. Was it Monday? What one day we missed you anyway? Soundhole Sniffer sticker arrived. Thanks. Well, the question is, Philip, where are you going to stick it? Are you going to stick it on your S1 Pro? That'd be cool. Oh, great. Mark Davis says, new to the channel, enjoying the content. Have you done any reviews on the Spark amp? I love this show because we are either, as a group of people here, music gear fans, we're either completely on the same page or I'm just completely obsessed with music gear. And I suspect that the latter is true. But I was just looking at the Spark amp because they also have a sale on right now. But the price that someone said it went down to wasn't reflected when I looked on the website. The thing about the Spark amp is, Mark, that, and by the way, welcome to the channel and thanks for subscribing. I really appreciate it. Thanks for liking what I do. I'm glad it's useful to you. The thing about the Spark amp is that if you wind back the clock, when they announced it, they upset a lot of people. Try not to swear there. They upset a lot of people because they announced it, they took pre-orders, and then they shipped them out to YouTubers for reviews before they sent them to the customers that had paid for them. And I can see why people might be pretty miffed about that myself. So I did have a pre-order back then. I thought it looked like a cool thing. So then what I did was I tried the app. They released an app that had one of the features in the app. And this feature is you play some chords on the guitar. It listens, and then it gives you a backing track, and then you play over the backing track. I thought this was such a great idea. But when I tried the free app that they released before they shipped the amps, it didn't work. It didn't work well. And I get kind of weird lately about gear. Like, I know you can't expect every feature to work perfectly in a piece of gear, in the same way that you buy an Apple computer and some of the features don't work as well as others, right? But that kind of got me worried. I was just worried. I was like, well, there's a lot of hype. The app isn't fully working. Now, let's just bear in mind that was over a year ago. So I'm sure they've done a lot of updates, or I hope they have done a lot of updates since then. So I would like to try one. Having said that, I have the Kemper with the Kemper cab. I have my real amp. I have two real amps. I have the Kemper and the Kemper cab. I don't feel, and my in-ears, so I don't feel like I need a Spark amp. I would just like to review it on my channel. So that's not my priority, but thanks for asking. And why are you asking, Mark? Have you tried the Spark amp, or are you looking at buying one? Let me know. It makes perfect sense to me. I'm glad it makes sense to someone. I give no context. Deal with it. I rarely make sense, even with context. Okay, this is just getting weirder and weirder. Available in any color as long as it's white. Sorry, Brad. I'm still working on the merch. Monkey Sweep. I have a pair of the S1 Pro. So a pair is great because a pair of those little speakers is great because you could take one to a small coffee shop gig, or you could take two to a larger gig. And for a really large gig, you can use them as monitors. And the great thing about using those S1 Pros as monitors is they're rechargeable, so you can charge them up, and you haven't even got to plug them into power. I think the S1 Pro and the JBL Compact are really, really, really great for band gigs. I'm thinking like a drummer. So you could potentially put the S1 Pro or the JBL Compact next to a drummer, and you've just got to run that one XLR cable to it from your mixer, and they've got the little monitor they can use. And they can even reach over and adjust the treble and the bass on it if they need to, the tone. That's cool. As a gigging musician, I tend to carry at least one guitar with noiseless pickups, even if my main guitar has regular. Okay. So, Real Ting, I keep saying I got this wedding gig Saturday. Do you take two guitars to every gig? I've actually been taking two acoustic guitars to gigs in the last few months. A few gigs I've done, I've taken two acoustics. Because I never used to really think about backups. I'm really into backup gear now. So if I go to a gig, especially, okay, if I'm taking the train, I would not. I can't, right? If I'm driving to a gig, I always want to take two speakers, two stands, 2 guitars, 2 of every cable. I think it's really important to have spares. So yeah, that's a great point. That's why like the HSS Ultra Strat is a great option. If you get that and have like a double guitar bag, and then you have your favorite Strat as well, if that's not your favorite Strat, of course, then there you go. You've always got a noiseless guitar. You've always got a backup. That's obviously going to have some weight to it. I love the mono double gig bags. Obviously that's going to be heavy, but you've got your backups there. I just bought an XL Green for Vermont. ASM SHS. It's almost like a Martin guitar name, isn't it? Extra large green Aaron Short Music Sandhole Sniffer shirt. Thank you, Jim. So do me a favor. Thank you for doing that and supporting my channel. Please send me a picture of you wearing it to say hi at aaronshortmusic.com and we can share it on a future stream together. Okay, Stratman. The in-between sounds are noiseless, but the tone is completely different to pickups on their own. More quacky, right? So it won't suit everything. I agree. I never used in-between sounds. I used to use position 2, and I've actually been using position 4 lately. I guess my point really was if you do have a really noisy environment, you could use those to get through the gig. And also they are noiseless. They're very, very noiseless, in fact, as long as they're wired in reverse WAND, reverse polarity, they are very noiseless, right? So this is something I was thinking about. I was thinking about, is it worth someone getting a full set of noiseless pickups and putting them in their Strat if their Strat already has 3 positions that are basically noiseless anyway? Is it? So that's all. It's not like the whole thing is becoming noiseless. You're kind of doing half of it as noiseless. So I don't know. I find the noise gate and the volume pedal on the Kemper tends to solve most problems. Me too. I love a good noise gate, but the problem is once you start playing, that noise will come back again. So if you can reduce the noise as much as possible, that's always preferred, I guess. Well, for me it is. And Brad has already ordered a mug. Thank you, Brad. I really appreciate it. And Brad has a spark. Okay, Brad, give us a live review. I want a 100-word essay on the chat. Think I'll stick to one of my Martin cases, putting a Sweetwater sticker on the Bose S1 Pro. Most all my studio gear came from Sweetwater. Great, Philip. And that's a great way to lead into if you're buying from Sweetwater and you're going to order from them from the website. Click on my Sweetwater link in any of my videos, and it helps me out on the channel, gives me a commission at no expense to you. The Real Ting says, I always take 2 guitars to my wedding gigs. If you break a string, it's a ball ache to have to stop the set to restring. Yeah, good point. I've always restrung the guitar right before the gig, and then that usually means for me it won't break a string, but of course you still can. So, yes, definitely. Definitely, that's a great point about breaking a string. But no, knock on wood, it's been a while since I broke a string at a gig. I used to break them all the time. I don't really do it lately. And I don't even restring that often anymore. Mark Davis, I have not tried it yet. I would be more inclined to order it from Amazon due to the mixed customer service the manufacturers offered. It does seem like a feature-packed practice app. Now, do Amazon have these? I didn't actually realize that. Amazon Spark Amp. They do have it for $270, which is the same price. And you're absolutely right. You would receive it in one day. And also, you get that return policy. Amazon have excellent customer service, I will say. So I am going to paste that in the chat. And I'll tell you what, Mark Davis, if you're going to buy one, that's my affiliate link right there. And let me know how it is. I was going to say I may even buy one myself, but I'm trying to save up for some gear for the channel right now. So I won't be doing that. But that's my link right there. If you're in the USA, that is. That's my USA link. I use a mono double gig bag for that reason. It is well worth the hassle. I typically drive and bring PA, so it's a relatively minor inconvenience. Yeah. Once you're playing, as long as you're playing hard enough, the noise is usually unnoticeable through what you're playing. Tim Pierce talks about this with some of his noisy guitars. I totally agree. When I review gear here, it's kind of unfair because if I set up a PA system here and turn it up loud and it's completely silent, of course, I'm going to hear every noise, every hiss, everything. At a gig, that's never going to happen because there's people talking and there's background noise and you're playing. I still like my gear to be as quiet as possible at all times, though. And also, I do play at home more than I play out right now because of what's happening. So that is important to me. The Spark is great practice amp, a lot of fun to play with. You can waste hours jamming. Okay, so a great review from Brad. Maybe I will try to check one out. I'll see. North Carolina, good luck with the sale of your Spark. Who's selling a Spark? I don't have one. I'm confused, Mark. But I would like to try one, definitely. I find most of the time broken strings happen with new string. Oh, interesting. Once that makes it through, we get a few gigs, they tend to last. Also worth getting guitar check for burrs and sharp edges. Yeah, burrs and sharp edges of the setup are very important. I can't say I break new strings more than I tend to break them when they're old. I just don't break strings as much as I used to. Maybe because I'm doing more live streaming than playing, or maybe because I don't. Remember, we used to do gigs together, real thing. I used to have my arm used to be like this, very like strumming a lot and just very locked. And I think I had some bad setups on some guitars, and I used to break strings all the time. And it got to the point where I then restring before every gig, which is crazy. But I think now I just play softer. Ever since I got the Jazz 3 picks that you told me about, by the way, and because they're thicker, you see that? What I do, I've said this before, what I do is I hold it very lightly and I strum lightly. And then if I want to dig in, I can dig in for single notes. But I strum lightly and that works out really well. Great question from Poo Ninja. How many people wash their hands before playing? I try to. I always have tried to, because that will make the strings last longer. I think it's very important. Brad is selling... What? You're selling your Spark, Brad. I thought you would keep... I thought you loved it. I'm looking for that message. You didn't say that. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, stop the clock. Stop the clock here. You just told me on my live chat that the Spark... Oh, of course you did, because you're selling it. Look at this, look. The Spark is a great practice amp, a lot of fun to play with. Sorry. The Spark is a great practice amp and a lot of fun to play with. You can waste hours jamming along. The tones are excellent. And by the way, mine is for sale if you're in the UK. I have to say you're probably a bit biased, Brad, because you're selling it. So all biased aside, right, and bearing in mind, Mark and myself are in the USA, we can't buy it. Would you suggest it as a purchase? Give us the lowdown. I have broken maybe 3 strings in the last 10 years, 30 to 50 gigs a year. There you go. But I get it. We can't afford to break the song before the most important song of the night, can we? I think spares are really important. Something I never thought about for many years, but it's important. There's a fly in here. Can you see it? For what it's worth, my PA is old school. Got a deal on a pair of 2 alto 2-way 15-inch powered speakers off Craigslist and have a few different sizes of mixers. No issues with volume. Yeah. Been talking about that lately too. Buying used, getting good deals. Why not? Especially if it's gear you're going to gig with. The PA I take to band gigs is 2 K10s, 2 K8s and a mixer. They're all in fantastic condition because I don't do many band gigs. I want to do more band gigs and I've decided I've got to use them. And of course, if I use them at band gigs, they're going to get dinged up. I have to accept that. I just want to use them. It's stupid having it here and never using it, right? So buying used is a great idea, Tone Guy, because they're going to get dinged up anyway. And you're absolutely right. Even the alto, a 15-inch speaker, doesn't really matter what brand it is, it's going to be powerful enough for a gig, right? And they're not audiophiles at our gigs, are they? I do like it, but I don't need it. Okay. Pizza grease is like string lube. Maybe your pizza's different. Yeah. Good Brooklyn pizza, and then you play that guitar. Okay, it's a great amp. I need room. I'm thinning down my collection of stuff. Yeah, well, me too. I'm thinning down my collection of stuff so I can then get more stuff for videos, and then maybe I'll need to get some more stuff to feature in videos in the future. So I'm doing that too. But the Spark is in it. Perhaps I'll email Positive Grid and see if they'll send me one as a loaner to review. That'd be cool. Monkey Sweeper. I've broken 1 string in the past 15 years. It was a traumatic experience. I was riding around the US on an 18-wheeler and snapped my G-string. Wasn't able to get another set for a week. Are you talking about your guitar, Monkey Sweeper? See, here's a great thing to tie this in. I still use the QSC speakers I bought from Aaron 10 years ago. He gave me a very fair price with the covers and they kept in great condition. So I actually had brand new QSC speakers that I sold when I left the UK to the real Ting, and that's still what he uses to this day. What he doesn't know is that I gave him a fair price because on each gig there's a 50 cents commission, which has been adding up for the last 10 years of all those gigs he's been doing. Then I moved here and I got the same. I got the QSC K10 or the K10. Then I discovered the K8s are really nice. So I actually sold that K10 to a friend here, and I bought the K10.2s because they're supposedly twice as powerful. But again, a lot of that is marketing. You don't really need 2,000 watt rated PA speakers. Those QSCs are really powerful. My playing was rather interesting in the meantime. Oh, we broke the G string. The problem with breaking a string is not always simply that. It's the fact that when you break a string, the whole guitar goes out of tune. Now, I always give Rain Song a shout out here because it doesn't happen with the Rain Song because it's carbon fiber. But on my Martin, for example, if I break a string on that thing, then you obviously I just keep playing and I ignore it, but the whole thing then has gone out of tune a bit. So I've then got to retune the entire guitar because the whole tension changes. Hi, how you doing? I heard someone bought the new Head Rush. What do you think? I did. I was just saying, I got this from Guitar Center. I got a very good deal on this. They have these at Sweetwater as well. You know what? I'm actually more impressed than I thought I would be. I might even keep this one. I'm going to sell probably a couple of my other modelers. This is a good layout. I haven't spoke about this yet on the channel. You know what I did really great with this thing? It's really affordable. And it's really light. And something that Head Rush does that the others don't do is you can switch between the amps instantly. The Kemper does this, but this is much cheaper than the Kemper. So what this does is, the way I play, all I need is clean, drive, and heavy, and then a solo boost. So what I can do is I can have a clean rig here, a completely different clean rig here, a completely different clean rig here, and then when there's a solo, push forward for a clean boost, and it'll also turn on the delay. That's actually all I need. I don't use anything else. You hold it down, you get a tuner. That's actually, honestly, all I need. And none of the other pedals do that. None of the other pedals have instant switching apart from the Kemper, and the Kemper's a different beast. So I really like this thing. If you're looking for something like this, I think this is the way to go. I think it's really, really cool. I'm really impressed so far. The tones are good too. And then the looper is cool on this one. I like this looper more than the other ones because it will store loops. So you could even store like a round of applause. I always joke about that, but why not? You know, you could store sound effects. If you want to fire some sound effects off during the gig, you can store them on there. So I really like this thing. I need to get more used to it. I need to try it out some more, but I like the color too. Look. So yeah, check that out on Sweetwater on my link. That is a cool pedal. And that came out of nowhere last week, didn't it? It just came out of nowhere. No one really knew it was coming. Well, some people did, I see, but no one really knew about it. I really like this thing. If you're looking for an affordable, super lightweight, bare bones modeling pedal that'll also record and stuff, I think this might be one of my favorites. Now, I've only just got it, so don't hold me to that, but it's much more impressive than I thought it was going to be. Which acoustic guitar amp and gear do you recommend for a beginner? Home gamer? Gamer? What, you play PS5? So that's really tough, Jim, because I've reviewed, I've played so many acoustic amps and I've reviewed so much acoustic gear. And there's two things you got to think about with that. Are you going to get an acoustic amp or a PA speaker? And here's the thing. A lot of people rave about acoustic amps. Sometimes I wonder why. Because a lot of acoustic amps are basically flat speakers. So you get that full range of your acoustic guitar. Okay? So I'll often say, why not just get a really good PA speaker? Because a K8.2 QSC is always going to blow away any acoustic amp, isn't it? And might possibly be more affordable too. and more versatile because you can use it for a monitor, you can use it for a gig, a full, any room, like a K8.2 will do any room. So that's why I often say the K8.2 is the way to go. Now the problem is, and why some people like the acoustic amp, is that it'll be a bit heavier and it won't have the effects built in. So that's where I would buy something like the TC Play Acoustic, because you've got the effects built in, especially if you're a singer. The effects are built in, and it's got a really good looper. So what you can do is you can plug that Play Acoustic straight into that K8.2, and you've got a rig that will do home volume or gig volume or anything in between. And for a long time, that was my go-to rig. So now there's a few other ways to go though. You can get the acoustic amp or a smaller amp. So the JBL Eon Compact or the Bose S1 Pro, whichever one you like the look of, whichever brand you prefer, they are great because they have those effects and tone controls. Especially the JBL has a lot of extra features. It'll even power the Play Acoustic. Great way to go, but it's not going to do a huge haul. So you're still going to have to get something else as well. If it's just for home, I'd probably go that route. It's light, it's small. You can even use the JBL or the Bose to play Bluetooth music while you're making your dinner. Really great way to go. Then there's things like the PRX1 that I just did a first look at, which I've been using at my shows lately, and I really like that approach, the big tower system. But you can use that at home, and it sounds great at home, but that's really something for a big gig. So that's the three ways I'd look at it. If you know you're only ever going to play at home, I would get the JBL Compact or the Bose S1 Pro, whichever one you prefer, whichever rate you prefer. And I would personally get I think the Play Acoustic is one of the best pedals I ever bought. I use the Voice Live 3 Extreme now, but the Play Acoustic and one of those speakers for home use is going to blow you away. A bit of a learning curve, but I think it's worth it. If you think you'll be playing some gigs, I would get something like a QSC K8.2 and a Play Acoustic. And if you like the idea of the all-in-one tower system where you could have guest musicians plug in and have a big sub-bass woofer because you want to use like drum pedals and things, I would get the PRX1 by JBL. So based on that, which one do you think is right for you? The K10s you sold me have never gone above halfway, and they're plenty loud enough for the gigs I do. I agree. It's interesting. My K10.2 never go past 50% either. And I do wonder what would happen if I did that. Would they start to break up? I don't know, because I've only ever run mine at 12. So when you do a gig, do you set those to like noon and then run it from the console, or do you set them up at like so you don't put them at like 75%, right? I think QSC say to run them at 75% and then mix from the desk, but do you just run them up halfway and just adjust from the mixer? They do have a lot of poke and headroom. A friend of mine just today said he loves his Headrush MX5. He plays with ELO. There you go. Now hang on. Have you told me about this friend before? Do they have a deal with Headrush? Because I do think we should disclose that if they are an artist of Headrush. Like, this is something I think about a lot. You know, if you're, and I might be shooting myself in the foot here, but if you're giving something, if you're given or paid to review something, let's be honest, right? You're always going to be different about something you've purchased yourself. So I bought this outright. I'm not saying I lie in my reviews where they pay me to make a review. I've done some demos where they pay me to do them, and I always disclose that. And I've done some reviews of gear that's been sent for review, and I don't see that as free gear. I see that as me using that for my time to make the video and pay for these lights and these cameras and all these things, right? But I do think it makes a difference, and that's why I disclose it if you buy something full price, because you do just naturally going to have greater expectations because you've spent the money you've earned on it. It's quite good. I'm playing with mine right now. Yeah, I tell you what, it's kind of gone under the radar. They sent them out to some reviewers. It got some good reviews. Sounded good. No one's really talking about it since. I think that should change. I think it's incredible that the other, the Line 6, the Fractal, you cannot have 3 gapless amps. You can do it on the Kemper. You can do it on the Quad Cortex, but the Quad Cortex is a whole new thing to talk about because I don't believe that's ready yet. This thing is ready out the box. You can have 3 amps. It's got an expression pedal. I could do a whole gig with that, and it sounds really good. I know I keep talking about how I like real amps. I still do, but if I had to just run to a rehearsal, I would take this. I wouldn't take the Fly Rig. I don't love the sound of that. I wouldn't take the Kemper. It's heavier. I would take this and our noiseless HSS Strat, and I'd be absolutely great. It's a really good pedal. Thank you, Poo Ninja. See you soon. Hi, Ricardo. Good to see you here. Tone Guy says, anyone else buy a 2-guitar gig bag like me, and how often have you used it? So, do they make 2-guitar acoustic gig bags? I doubt it, right? So actually, maybe they do. I would get the mono gig bag if I was driving to a gig. I mean, I wouldn't take this if I was taking the subway, of course. But there is a mono dual bag here on Sweetwater. Is this the one? Yeah, look. Really cool. So one guitar goes in there, one guitar goes in there. I like the mono stuff is made really well. Really, really well. I mean, it's not cheap, but it's made well. And the thing about gig bags is I've still got my Meridian, which I love. And the Meridian gig bag that I have is still in mint condition. It's incredible. And it's like 10 years old. Really impressive. So with some stuff, it's worth spending the money on it. So I've never owned one, but I'd like to. Real Ting has 4. My main mono bag gets used every weekend. 4 double gig bags. Okay. Send me one. If you're mainly a home player, something like the JBL Eon 1 Compact would be my choice. Effects, mixing, Bluetooth, and you can use it battery powered outdoors at the park. Yeah. I think that's what I said. I just said to look ahead. If you think you'll be playing in a bar or something, a bit larger venue, I mean, you can still then buy something bigger at that point and use the Compact as a monitor. And I agree, Real Ting, that the app is fantastic. I think some people won't like that app. Although, like we discussed with JBL on here recently, they're actually going to put the new app onto the JBL Compact. That's the idea. And I like the new app even more. It's not perfect yet. It's still got to do some tweaking, but it's cool. Hi Danielle, I often wonder what my Bugera AC60, or about the Bugera AC60. It looks like a poor man's AER Compact 60. Well, that is Behringer, right? And Behringer do recreate other products. And some of them are really good, to be fair. I've not actually heard of that. Bugera AC60. Let's take a look at that. Oh, yeah. See, $220, very good price. And here we go. This is what I'm saying about Sweetwater. I know I'm totally selling Sweetwater, but I do work with them. I'm doing the affiliate link with them. Look, they have a demo model. So what you do is you click on it. Actually, Real Ting bought a Tone Dexter demo model. It was perfect. Now, I have bought some demo models that have some scratching on them, if that bothers you. But like they tend to show you the actual unit. You're right. It does look like a poor man. Yeah. It looks exactly like that. No comment. Out of the box product. Product's in good condition, performs to factory specs, shows signs of light use, power cable and documentation included. See, box is in good shape. So, I mean, look at that, $186. Okay, get one of these and tell me what you think of it. You got 2 channels. One's a mic input. Even the controls are the same as the AER. Good old Bugera. Auxiliary input. This is what you get if you don't want to mess around with apps. Because I've been thinking a lot lately about digital and analog. This is what you get if you just want something just to plug in and use. And I can't vouch for the quality, but the quality of Bugera stuff is, Behringer stuff is always impressive. So I would give this a shot. And if it doesn't work out, then send it back and ask Sweetwater to send you a JBL Eon Compact. I'm kind of blown away at that price. Yeah, I got to do a whole series on this gear thing. Can you imagine comparing this to the AER? That would be such a great video. I want to do more videos like that, but I don't have the AER to do it with. But it just looks like the AER, doesn't it? Crazy. That's a crazy deal. Wow. We found some good deals today. Good job I haven't got my credit card on me. I run my K10s at 130, but it's well down on the mixer. Okay, so 130, just above noon. Okay, I'll do that too. Okay, Joe doesn't have a deal with them. Uses 10%. Okay. Yeah. I know I haven't posted the video. I'm really impressed with the head rush. I really am. I wish they had an app. They have the touch screen, which is always a pain at a gig. You got to get down on the floor. I think an app like Kemper have the app now. That's the way forward for me. But this thing is. I mean, I got this thing. So I know I traded in, got the 15% off, but they're like $2.99 right now. So I really love it. It really is a nice device, MX5. I had the Big Brother in the past. Yeah, I've never played it. I've tried the looper board. They were blowing out the looper boards at one point. I got it for like hundreds of dollars off, and then I ended up selling it. I think I sold it for a bit more than I even paid for it. They were really blowing them out, right? But I was so frustrated with it because this looper board was running version 1 software, and then version 2 software was in beta, and it was never quite finished, and it was just like I was just waiting for the thing to be finished. So I can't do that anymore. I want products to release and be ready to go. So I'd like to try it again. But I remember thinking the harmonies in that are not as good as the TC, and it's also really heavy, so I wouldn't take it to a gig. But now I'm live streaming, I probably would use it for a live stream if they improve the harmonies. We can record loops in internal memory. Whatever we want to call this loop, it has to be loaded. But yeah, you can load in loops. And why is not everyone doing that? That is such a cool feature. HX Stomp is great, but it's seriously underpowered. It's a great all-round pedal. I do love mine. I'll always have one. And it's probably my favorite of all the Line 6 stuff. But it does not have the power. You load one. This is the thing about the MX5. I'll give it its due here. I just want to get some water. With the MX5, it's actually the same power as the floorboard, the full-size head rush, which is $1,000 whatever. It's the same power. So although there's only 3 foot switches, you can make really serious rigs. The problem with the HX Stomp is it's half the power of a Helix. So you always feel limited, or I always feel limited by it. I might have to look at the MX5. Yeah, it's definitely worth looking at. They make a double gig bag that can carry 1 acoustic and 1 electric. Oh, that's cool. My double electric bag has lasted me almost a decade and is in great nick. The only damage is from my cats. Yeah. Yeah. Those cats, they do that to my stuff too. My double bag is 1 for acoustic, 1 electric. That's cool. Load up, it's almost too bulky, easy to carry separate. Yeah, I was thinking that too. The only thing with the double gig bags is it not better if you're going to the car not to take 2 cases separately? I guess it depends on the guitars you're carrying. And Gator have 1 double gig guitar bag and cheaper. Yeah, I like Gator stuff. I just got a mixer bag from Gator. It's really good quality. Thinking of adding a Martin D28 75th anniversary Madagascar Rosewood Addy top 5 and 16th forward scallop braces. Very nice. That's the thing with the D28. Usually you think HD28 is scallop braced, but actually the D28 can be scallop braced. Like the Modern Deluxe D28 is scallop braced, even though it says D28. You have to check the specs. Should we take a quick look at the Gator gig bag from, how do I say your name, Mario or Mario? Let me know how to say it. I'm always worried that I'll say people's names wrong in the chat. So it's the GPGE. Right, that's the gig bag, and this gig bag is $200. You know, people talk about the price of gig bags. A really well-made gig bag is expensive, and I think it's worth it because it's protecting your potentially thousands of dollars worth of guitar. This does look nice, actually. Let's look at this for 2 electric guitars. $280. It does look cool. Look at that. Nice straps. I always have to check the height of straps on gig bags because I'm 6'5", and sometimes the guitar can hit the ceiling. Loads of padding in there. That's great. I mean, you can just tell the quality just by the pictures, which is cool. Oh, it's got like a sleeve. Oh, it's got a sleeve that goes over it to protect it from rain. That's nice. Excellent compartment for your iPad, for your cables. The quality of the hooks and everything is great. Yeah, and there's even a gator on there as well. It doesn't say Sweetwater. That's just on the pictures. Yeah, that's really nice. Would I go for that over the mono? I might do, because the gator bag that I just got is really nice. Having said that, my mono bags are really nice as well. I don't know. I bet a 2 electric bag, yeah, more than a double acoustic bag. I think I would just take them separately. I've seen the gator, it does look good. Not been around long enough to know about longevity, but seems solid. Yeah, I do like mono stuff a lot. And I've met them a couple of times too. They're nice. Recommend the model. Thanks for the suggestion. I've had a lot of acoustic amps in the past, and the only one I've bought 3 times on occasions is the Boss Acoustic Singer Live. Very good for the price. Looper harmonizer, dual DI bands outputs. I tried one of those, but I didn't think it was powerful enough. I actually think the S1 Pro and the JBL Compact are more powerful. They have a lot of headroom for their size. But the Boss does have the effects. There's, like I said earlier, there are so many options now. There's so many options now for this stuff. It's just nuts. As with all, there's too much gear anyway, right? So there's just gear everywhere. And then with acoustic amps, there's because you've got the option of the PA speaker. You've got the option of the tower speaker. You've got the option of the acoustic amp. There's just so many options. If I'm playing both, then I just bring 2 single bags. You can wear one on the front if needed. That's a good point. Or bring my Godin Multi-Act, which is a thinner guitar. I wish they still made the in-case bags. I have 3 of them and they're really nice. Yeah, it looks like that kind of style, doesn't it? Of the in-case. That's what used to ship with the John Mayer guitars. The in-case. They're really cool. Well, I love this live stream because we just I have some ideas, but then I never use them. We just end up talking and discussing about gear, and it just kind of flows into something else, which is really cool. And I did have some viewers' comments I wanted to read out, which I didn't read out last week, actually. So this ties in well too. Jasper, he was on the channel last week. Thank you, Jasper. He sent me a super chat, and he said, Aaron, in your opinion, what do you think is the best amp for an acoustic guitar in combination with singing, especially the singing part? Now, this is interesting because if you're only, it's different to me. If you're only looking to play acoustic guitar through an amp or PA, that it's different when you want to sing through it. Because I don't like singing through the AER amps. I find them quite nasal, and I couldn't dial it out. I've used them, and I've heard other singers sound fine through them. But for me, I always felt it was a bit boxy sounding on the voice. And that bugged me. Like a cheap PA speaker would blow that away for vocals. So the reason I was so impressed with the S1 Pro and the JBL is that they do sound good on vocals. Now, having said that, if you don't sing and you're all about the guitar, maybe you'll like the AER amp for that reason. So I think you've got to bear that in mind as well. What are you doing with this amp? Are you singing through it? Are you playing guitar through it? Do you want to play electric guitar through it? And how much flexibility do you need? So to answer Jasper's question, the best, and I don't like the whole thing, the best, because there really isn't like a best product. If I was looking at something right now and had to make a choice for acoustic guitar and vocals, I would probably get, and I'll assume by amp you mean low powered and portable, I'd probably go myself, I'd go for the JBL Eon Compact. A lot of the viewers prefer the S1 Pro in the videos I made, although I don't think that was really fair because I didn't do any EQing. But I would go for one of them because they do sound really good on vocals. Yeah. And when those things released onto the market, they really stirred things up a lot because until that point, you could not get a small battery-powered speaker with that kind of sound. And if I wanted something louder, I'd probably go for the tower systems, either the Bose tower, which I haven't tried, or the JBL tower. Yeah, I'll stick with that. And then Jesse said, I'm torn between the 0013E and the first guitar. This was on a comparison we did with Maury on a Monday show. And it sparked amped a interesting conversation. He said, for a beginner, which one is the better choice? And someone replied, if you're a beginner, I would say both of these would be too high of a price. Now, what do you think about that? I don't think I agree. I have this thing about being a beginner where I think I would recommend getting a guitar you're really into. So let's say the viewer, it was Jesse, saw the 0013E, which that's not a standard series Martin, right? It's in the affordable range of Martin pricing, which is still higher than other brands. But I think if owning a Martin and a Martin with a pickup in it and you want that guitar means you'll play more as a beginner, I think it's worth it. Obviously, as long as it's within your budget. Everything's always got to be within budget. But I don't really agree about getting something really cheap as a beginner. And I don't know if that's what the people meant who left the comments at all, but it just got me thinking, what would I suggest to someone? I think if this person is looking at those two guitars and they're clearly inspired by them and are learning, they should buy one of those two guitars. Which one is the better choice? I'm not sure what the first guitar was, but a 0013E would be a great choice because it's going to be a smaller body. It's got the pickup if you want to plug in. And if, like I said, if you want Martin on the headstock, I would go with that. I would totally go with that. Now, I'm also going to say that I reviewed a Yamaha that was $250 or $300, and that's an incredible guitar for the money. But I think my point really is, if you're a beginner and you're looking at a guitar that's $999, I would never tell you not to buy it because you're just a beginner. I think it's cool if a beginner buys a D45 if they can afford it, if it's in budget, and it means they're going to play it a lot. If you're not sure if you think I might not like this, I might give it up in a few months, maybe that's a good reason to buy a more affordable guitar. But I wouldn't discourage this person from buying the 0013E. And then one more comment I got was, I was going to buy the TC Helicon and they wouldn't respond to me if they updated the algorithms and their pitch correction and auto-tune since 2004 when it first came out. Not fair to drop $200 for almost 20-year-old gear when you can get Antares auto-tune. Now, I completely disagree with this comment respectfully as well, because, and I want to tell you why. I don't totally disagree. I do agree in a way that buying new gear, you should get something that's better than before and you should get improvements. I do agree with that. And I also agree that companies should always be updating and improving products. That's the ideal situation. But the reason I don't agree with this right now is that the gear I use to play my shows with is old gear. And why shouldn't I use it if it's old gear? I was thinking this the other day. The TC Helicon stuff, you're right, it hasn't been updated, but it's still the best for my application, which is live use. I'm sure the plugins blow it away now, but I don't use plugins for a gig. I use the pedal. There is no better pedal to me than the TC Helicon Play Acoustic and the Voice Live 3 Extreme for a singing guitarist, right? I hope there will be, but there isn't yet, so I'll keep using them until there is. The Kemper has a really outdated screen, and it's 10 years old. I still think it's one of the best pedals out there for electric guitar. Doesn't bother me they haven't updated it. And this sparked the whole thing with like the Quad Cortex. Yes, it's brand new and shiny and new. It's also not finished. So would you rather buy a Kemper that's 10 years old and really been refined, or would you rather buy a Quad Cortex and kind of be a beta tester for a few months? I'd rather have the Kemper. That's my situation of gigging. If you're playing at home, maybe you want to be on the bleeding edge and you're okay with like not having an editor because it's on the table. I do get that as well. But I just think I'm not attacking this person. I wanted to make a point of this comment that just because something is old, don't dismiss it. That goes for people as well. No, I'm kidding. Just because a piece of gear is old doesn't mean it's no good. I've seen people say this. I'm not going to buy that pedal because it's been out for 5 years. Surely there's a new one coming. Well, no. What if there isn't? And what if there is a new one coming, but it's got loads of issues that we have to wait for them to fix? I think there's nothing wrong with established gear and gear that's working. So I have the proof. Of all the gear I've tried, I still love a tube amp, a Kemper, a TC Helicon. They all look dated, but they all work really well. So I hope that wasn't too. I didn't want to come across as rude or anything, but the comments, as well as answering comments, they also give me ideas for videos and things to think about, you know. Mike says, for me, the Bose L1 Pro 8. Now, I haven't tried these, Mike, and I really want to. I'd love it if Bose would send me one to put up against the PRX 1. Because I want to know which one. And I want to go outside somewhere and turn them up. And I want to know which one I prefer. I'd even like to do it without seeing them. Have them behind a screen, turn up, play some music through them, play guitar through them, and see which one actually has the best sound. Because I haven't tried those Bose, the new towers yet. Tone Guy says, guitars for beginners, buy the best guitar you can that physically fits you and has the right tone for your playing style. Yeah, I agree. Jasper says, very interesting. I'm about to spend €1,100 on the AAR 6040, but I do have doubts about it, especially after your comments. Thanks. Currently D18 with the K&K Western Mini. Difficult decision. I did review the AAR 60 Mark IV, and I did sing through it in that video, and it did sound very good, but that was going direct. In the room, they start to give it honky on the vocals. You know what you should do, Jasper? Order the Behringer version for €200 and try it and see what you think, and then you can let me know what you think of it. But yeah, I'm very careful what I suggest to people that sing and play guitar. I think going the route of a PA speaker is better if you're going to use pedals. If you don't want to use pedals and you want all the controls on the amp, then go for the amp. But if you're going to be using pedals, then you don't need an acoustic amp. And that's not to say I don't like them, right? I do like them. I mean, Tommy Emmanuel plays one, right? I do like them, but I wouldn't be my, if I had €1,000, I wouldn't put that, if you, hang on, let me say the right thing. If I got €1,000 and I'm looking for something for vocals and guitar for a gig, I wouldn't go that route. I would go for more of a PA style speaker, or the ones I mentioned earlier. Whew. I'm just going to drop my link in here for my buy me a coffee page in case anyone wants to buy me a coffee for later on. Here you go. Okay, Thomas says, do you have problems with humidity? I had a couple of mate and custom shop guitars and began to think they're a liability because I needed to closely monitor humidity and take appropriate action. Well, Thomas, this is a big topic because humidity really depends on where you live, right? When I lived in England, humidity wasn't really an issue because it wasn't a problem then. Here in New York, it's a real problem simply because in the winter, they turn the heat on, you can't control it, and it will dry the guitar out. And I've had guitars crack, right? So you need to tell me more information. You need to tell me where you live and what do you mean? Do you mean too much humidity or not enough humidity? Now, I've found the Australian guitars to stand up really well against humidity. I think because of where they're made and the woods and everything. My Mini Maton that I owned for years did have a real problem drying out because I never humidified it, and that was in New York. So it actually fared really well for an acoustic guitar in New York City. I don't think another guitar would have fared so well. What you got to remember is that all acoustic guitars and guitars need to be humidified at the right settings, the right humidity levels and temperatures and things, because wood will dry out, right? Even your door, if the door on your front door starts to warp, that's humidity, right? So I don't think that acoustic guitars or guitars are liabilities. I think you just have to take care of them. If you're worried about it, you have to put them back in their hard shell case when you're done with them and lock the case. You have to use the Diodario or the Boveda humidipacks all year round, and you shouldn't ever have a problem with that unless you live in a really tough climate. If you live in a really tough climate, then the thing to do is to maybe the most extreme case is to look at like a rain song guitar, because there is no wood, and then you can leave that out. That's why I always recommend like a rain song to people, because you can get it and you can leave it out all year round and never worry about that. But then I would still own a wood guitar, of course, right? And I would keep that in its case at all times. Now this guitar has been out because it does get very hot in here. This room right now is 94 degrees, but it's summer, so too much humidity to me isn't such a problem. The problem I have really is when it's too dry, because it can crack the wood. So if this was winter, this wouldn't be out. This would be out for the stream and then straight back in its case. So I need more information. I became a bit paranoid and sold them. Wow. Well, I've done the same. Like a custom shop or a very expensive guitar. That's why I sold the John Mayer. I was so worried that it might crack here that I sold it on. Now I wish I hadn't. And the only guitars I've had crack here really are the ones that I've left out. But that can happen, right? Thank you, Jasper. I appreciate it. I'll give you one of these. Jasper, thank you. You've been super chatting me all week. I really appreciate it, man. It's great. Thank you for supporting the channel. Let me just finish Thomas's question. I've got about 15 minutes left. I became a bit paranoid and sold them. I decided that as primarily an electric player, I needed cheaper acoustic guitars because they're more robust. The Nashville is a happy medium, for instance. So do you have the Nashville now? I agree. If you've got a really high-end, super expensive guitar, they can become a bit of a liability. You can almost become afraid of them because they're more of a piece of art than a guitar. That can happen, especially if they've got nice inlays and things. I do totally get it. But like I said, it depends where you live and all that stuff. So what do you have now? That's the question. PRX1 has the more mixer flexibility though, for sure. Says Mike. Yeah, PRX1 is cool. I like mine, but they haven't quite finished the app yet, and that's why I haven't reviewed it. I'm not reviewing gear that's not... I'm not going to say, here's my review, buy this thing, I recommend it, until I see that everything is ready, is good to go. Now, it's working fine. There's a couple of things I need to fix, which they told me they're going to fix. But that's a whole new topic for another video we can talk about another time. I've got a few pedals here where the firmware was never finished. And it kind of drives me crazy because some of these pedals are years old. So I totally get that JBL wanted to ship, but they've got a couple of bugs to fix. And I'm sure they will, right? Because I'm talking to them a lot. I'm sure they will. But I'm not going to recommend something on here until I see that is there. Because I've been burned by that a few times in the past. Like I said, I got some pedals here that never really got finished. It's kind of weird, you know. It's like, what is that? I feel like there are better options than AR nowadays. I personally prefer something like JBL Compact. I agree. Because when Tommy was playing the AER and there was no Compact or Bose S1 Pro, people raved about them. But now we basically have these mini PAs. They're so much more versatile. And they're exactly what you want, aren't they? They're kind of like a flat speaker, and they have an app, and they have just more stuff. I think that's the way to go. Hi, Gershwin fan. Any experience with the Godan Multiac Nylon SAs? That's Synth Access. Just came onto the stream. Sorry if mentioned before. So Real Ting has one. I've played them. I went looking for a Synth Access guitar. They don't do Synth Access anymore. So if you see one that is for sale, then buy it. Bear in mind, it only works with certain pedals, like the Boss ones. And I found the tracking could be a bit hit and miss. Have you seen the new Boss guitar? It's electric, but there's a new Boss guitar coming out with really good tracking, supposedly, this year. I want to see that. But to answer your question, the Godans are interesting. I find them a bit unwieldy. I find them a bit heavy. I don't like the sound of the pickup as just an acoustic pickup. I think the synth stuff is interesting. The new Godans actually have bags, three-way pickups in, which I find a bit more appealing. I'm not knocking it. I love that they did the synth access. I'd love to see more guitars like a Variax and a Godan. I wish more companies would do that stuff. I really do. But I know a lot of people like them, and I never really spent much time with one. I never really bonded with one. I got one from Guitar Center. It was like a used one, and I just remember finding it kind of heavy, and I wasn't going to use the synth anyway, so I didn't go that route. I'd like to try the Doyle Dykes Signature, which has the 3 bags pickups in it. So no, but I do know they've discontinued synth access. So if you want one, get that. Tone Guy says, try an inexpensive solid wood model from Epiphone or Blue Ridge. You won't have to worry much. Get HPL or carbon fiber, not worry. Exactly. I'd recommend looking at a Rain Song with the LR Bags Anthem. It'll last you forever. You might need to put some stainless steel frets in at some point, but have you seen my videos with my vintage rain song? It just looks like an acoustic. It's great. Check those out. Thank you for the super chat, Jasper. Brisbane has huge humidity swings, 37% now, but can be 8% or more. Get them in case of, yeah. It can get like that. You know, I've known people that make special cages just for their acoustics. They're like animals. It's like owning a cat. Like with a cat, right? You have to clean the litter and feed it every day, twice a day, and brush them and play with them. And it's the same with an acoustic guitar. You have to feed it and humidify it and all these things, clean it, right? It can become a liability. I've also known people in Nashville that just have a couple of acoustics and just play them. And they don't care about this stuff and they just use them. And that is the way it should be, I believe. But I totally get what you're saying. So I would seriously look into carbon fiber. If you want something that you can just leave out all the time and just practice every day and not worry about it, and then take it to a gig and not worry about it and save money on setups, I'd look at carbon fiber. K-Slims, late as usual. No problem, K-Slim. You can watch the replay. Tone Guy says, I recently got a couple of inexpensive Martin all HPL guitars. Used Craigslist, and they sound good enough as acoustics, and their Fishman pickups sound great plugged in. I'm not a huge fan of just the undersaddle by itself, I must admit. But, yeah, if you can buy a used Martin HPL, that's going to be a great thing to carry around. My Nashville, and you can always use pedals with the pickups. My Nashville is just a few serial numbers from yours. Oh, you have one. So you sold the customs and you bought the Nashville. Well, there you go. You're good. Don't worry about it. I mean, I think you'll be fine. Just try and keep it in a case whenever you can. You know, finish playing it. You can leave it out for a few hours. Nothing's going to change in a few hours, but just try to keep it in its case with humidipacks more often than not, is my advice. But yeah, the Nashville, great guitar and more affordable. One was a single O, one was a GPC with a colorway. Cool. So Jasper, I just visited my local luthier. He recommended a gig bag and a Martin standard hard shell. It's much more secure when it comes to security and humidity protection. He recommended the gig bag instead of a... I mean, the hard shell case is always the best rack, right? For protection and weather. Some are better than others, but they're not practical. I don't like taking a hard shell case to a gig. I'd much rather take a gig bag to a gig. Then again, there's gig bags and gig bags. Try Emerald guitars if you live in a dry, wet climate. Yes, I hear great things about Emerald. I haven't played them. The reason I like the Nashville is because they just look like an acoustic now with the Nashville. I think Emerald do too, but the Rain Song guitars look and feel more like a traditional acoustic. I like that. I'm fairly traditional in my ways. I'm waiting anxiously, says, hi Alan, how you doing? Good to see you here. I think you're new here. I'm waiting anxiously for my new Roland Cube Street, not the EX. Now rebranded the Bose Cube Street 2. I saw that. Upgraded to 2 5 watts instead of 2.5 watts and other major upgrades. Looper Harmony. Yes, I saw those. I actually asked them if I could review it. It never happened. But I was interested in that for the harmonies. The only companies that do really good harmonies right now are TC Helicon and Boss. So I was interested in that. So Real Ting had a multi-act nylon and loved it. I had the K&K put in. That's cool. Unfortunately, I got stolen. Is that the guitar that I got for you and you picked up here? A couple of those guitars that got stolen, the ones that that you picked up from me. That's really sad. Tone Guy, for carbon fiber guitars, Rain Song or composite acoustics are other great choices. I haven't played the others. I've played some at NAMM. It's not a good place to try them. They all look really futuristic and modern to me. I like that the Rain Song go with the traditional. I do wish they would use stainless steel frets. I will say that. The others do and Rain Song don't. But I'm full disclosure, I'm also friends with Rain Song. Done some videos for them. But I really like that Rain Song Nashville vintage guitar. Jasper says, just spent a few hours with my luthier. He recommended me to store the D18 in a mono M80. I have the soft mono case. It's more protective than the Martin hard shell, more enclosed, much less humidity variations. The mono M80? Are you sure? Let me see this. Isn't that a soft case? I don't even see it. Mono M80 bag. I got it on Guitar Center. Yeah, I have this for my electric. I love the Meridian bag for acoustic, but they stopped making them. The company closed down. I was so upset. I didn't buy many bags because my bag lasts so long. The only problem I have with the M80 bag, Jasper, is that it's soft. It's a gig bag, right? A gig bag is not, I don't think it's going to be as protective as a hard shell case. Now, I say that with a caveat, which is the hard shell cases, they've done tests on them. Some of them leak more air than others. And obviously, if it leaks air, that means it'll leak humidity. So there are reasons. But I think generally, a good hard shell case, sealed correctly, is the best way to go over this one. The other thing you can do that I was told as a tip when my guitar got really dry one time is to get a trash bag. Don't get one with a scent because your guitar will stink. Get an unscented trash bag and put it around the body of the guitar and use the drawstring to tighten it around the neck. And also in there, obviously, have your humidifier, and that will lock in that humidity. And then put that in a gig bag. That can be good. But I just think that I think the hard shell is the way to go myself. Could be wrong. Case them, accidentally found an awesome guitar. I needed a cheap guitar I could hand off to people at sessions in bars. I found a frameless FD28 spruce top. There you go. It's all about your environment too. If you need an instrument for an open mic or something, then I would certainly suggest something like that. When I used to teach kids music class, I used to do that, believe it or not, I would use the carbon guitar because if it got messed up, if it got some, let's say, some drool on there or something, everyone wanted to strum the guitar as they do, right? You could take the strings off and I would get this hot soapy water and just scrub the whole thing down. That was kind of cool. Martin Davis, are you new here? If you're new here, thank you. And please make sure you're subscribed. I really would appreciate it. Help me get up to that 9K mark. I just need another 30, it looks like. I recently got HX Stomp and struggling to find tones I like. I've ordered the Strymon Iridium today, not sure I made a mistake. Can it go in front of Stomp and use both? Yes, it can. You want me to share my thoughts on that? So, my personal thought is that the Line 6 stuff, I don't like the cabs, all right? You need good IRs. I love York Audio IRs. Go and buy some York Audio IRs with the cab of your choice and load them in there. Tell me what you think. I love them. To me, it just completely changes the... And there's all these videos about, well, you can use EQ, and I've even done some with tone matching and all this stuff. You don't need it. You just need really good IRs, and it shines. So do that. I reviewed the Strymon Iridium. It didn't blow me away because it's so limited. It's just a little box that does that one thing. That's great if you're traditional and you just want an amp, right? If you've got a pedal board and you just want an amp sound, that's great. And that Strymon stuff is really great. The problem I had with it was the clean was great, the crunch was great, the heavy stuff wasn't heavy enough for me, and I don't even play metal. So that was a problem for me. And then I thought it was good, but it just does the amp tones. Now, I really totally understand if you have a pedal board and you just want to go direct at times, I would probably do that myself. But here's my thought with like the HX Stomp. It does more stuff, and I think it can sound as good and even better than that pedal. I don't think you did the wrong thing, but I'm going to suggest this to you as well. Is that, Martin, check these out. You know, I haven't finished playing with it. I haven't reviewed it or anything. This thing has impressed me. You know why? This is something that no one's talked about. And I said it earlier. You can have, it sounds really good. There's not a million amps, right? You can load IRs, but there's some really good tones in here. And the thing is, you can have 3 different amps. On the Stomp, you have 1 amp, right? And if you change patches, you lose your sound. Well, on here, you can have a clean amp, a different amp, a different amp, different rigs, and this has the same power as the main Headrush floorboard. And I've heard so many bad kind of scathing comments about Headrush from different people that I had no idea this would be as good as it was. I got it on a complete whim because a couple of my friends were talking about it, and I wanted to try a head rush on my channel. I thought, well, I'll trade in some gear and I'll just sell it on and get my money back. But I really like this thing. It's not perfect, no piece of gear is, but compared to a Stomp, I think this is a great way to go because you have the 3 switchless, gapless rigs, and I'm not a big fan of expression pedals. I don't do a lot of wah-wah, but this could be, for example, rhythm and then lead, and it can morph the sound into a different lead sound. I think you should check this out. Headrush MX5. I have links below to it and Sweetwater. And before you do that, buy some York Audio IRs. And if you like them, let me know and tell York Audio that I told you about them. Check out the new Carbon Fiber Lava Music Me Pro. I've heard about those. I never tried one. Listed at 1399, dropped to 635, got for B stock 555. Fish and Pickup installed is selling on Andertons for 345. Had a luthier today and absolutely loved it. What is that case then? Oh, a cheap guitar. Yeah, great. I mean, look, if you can get a deal on something, then get it, right? Because it's like buying a new car. The minute you go out the parking lot, you lose loads of money. I've definitely come around to buying used. I bought my Cole Clark used. I got a great deal. The guy was a friend of mine. That helped as well, of course. Be careful buying used. There are people that will sell stuff that's not what they say it is. I live in New York City and will keep my guitars in their cases most of the time with a sponge and Ziploc humidifier inside the sound hole. No issues to report. Yeah, me too. As long as they're in that hard shell case with humidifier, I've not had a problem. Emerald Donegal. That's my home place. They just bought a Plek machine. Oh, great. Yeah, I don't think Rainsong have a Plek either. I really like Plek and I really like stainless steel. I hope they add that at some point. Mono M80 is not cheap, but the best gig bag around. Super, super tough. $250 more or less. Please look into it. I have one. I have the M80 electric bag with the boot, and it is great. You have gig bags and nothing for months and find the mono. This is a Canon. But my Meridian is still my favorite acoustic bag. They don't make them anymore. So if that ever dies, I will probably get a mono. The guitar you picked up for me was a steel SA. Okay, I still have it. Oh, great guitar. The neck's a bit thin and my hand gets cramps. M80 is the standard mono soft case. The Vertigo is, yeah, I have the Vertigo. I like the idea of the boot because I was at a luthier one day and I put my guitar on and the guitar fell out the back of the guitar. That won't happen with the boot bag. Reunion Blues Continental was very rigid gig bag. There are videos showing dropping off buildings. Yeah, they never appealed to me for some reason, but people would rave about those as well. Martin Davison said, new and subscribed. Thank you, Martin. I really appreciate it. You have indeed. I just need another 30 to get to my... Is it 30? It's weird, yeah. The number on the screen is not as accurate as my app. I am bad at maths. I'm not that bad at math. I have York Audio IRs. Problem with the Stomp is I spend more time fiddling than playing. Maybe I need to spend more time. Yeah, that's the problem with all digital stuff. That's why I went back to playing amps, actually, Martin. I decided if you're just going to use a clean, a crunch, and a heavy sound, just get a real amp. Just get the real thing. Then there's no doubt in your mind. But that is just an issue with digital. And I'm sure it'll be an issue with the head rush as well. I try to get in this place like with my Kemper where I'm like, okay, I found a clean, stick to it. I found a drive, stick to it. And then don't touch it. Just use it like an amp. Some of that is just like something we have to do in our mind because we can't, too many options is just bad. Like we want more options and then we just never get anything done. So that's interesting. You've tried York Audio IRs. Do you like them? I think they're a game changer. I really think they're great. And then I have noticed with these modelers though, sometimes like you'll load up a clean amp and you put everything at 5 and it just sounds dead. And I'll load up my clean amp over here. I'll just put it on 5. It's incredible. The other tip I'll give you is when I play my real amp, it goes through an aux box. And I have this theory about the aux box. It goes in digitally to my interface and it's in stereo. And that makes a huge difference. If you listen with in-ears to a stereo reverb and 2 cabs in stereo, it sounds so much more organic and bigger. When I was trying the head rush the other day, it was just going mono, and I was A/B in between the two, and it didn't sound as good. And I figured out it's because it's not in stereo. So try running in stereo, try in-ears, and try the IRs, And just find an amp that you like and dial it in and don't touch it. That's my advice to you. Gig bag is soft, but better for humidity. Why is a gig bag better for humidity? I don't think so. It depends how well the seal is, though. Because like the trick cases from Seagull, they supposedly are the best for a seal. I have to assume that a gig bag won't seal in humidity like a hard shell case will. I could be wrong, and it always depends on the case. But I don't know. I wouldn't. That's fine if that's what you want to do. But if you want my advice, I would use a hard shell case at all times. The AER is an acoustic guitarist choice, not for vocals as well. I agree. I've had one doesn't cut the mustard when comparing this one, bro. I agree. Martin Davidson, another question. Okay, need some more water. Okay, great. I bought the JBL 1 Compact this week from watching your reviews. Thank you. Would you consider 2 to give stereo sound? Yes, I would. Definitely. I'm a big fan of stereo now. I'm a big fan of in-ears now. Martin, get some in-ears. I use these ones. They're like $50. I've got an Amazon link for these. That's on my... If you look up Aaron Short Music in-ear monitor videos, I have the links to these in my videos. And it's just a game changer. Because once you hear that stereo sound direct in your head, it's so much better. It takes a while to get used to it, but it's incredible. And then if you want to take that out with you, you could use 2 compacts. Yes, you could. Yes, you could. You could do that. I would suggest that. I haven't done it, but I want to try it because it's very recent for me that I'm into the whole stereo thing. It really does sound pretty incredible. The first time I used my TC Helicon pedal and had some ping pong delay on my voice, I was just wow. I was telling everyone on the stream, go put headphones on. This sounds great. So try that. It makes everything just sound bigger, of course, because it's stereo. Thomas says, thanks, Aaron and everyone for their suggestions regarding humidity of bulletproof guitars. No problem. See, I love the way these streams are going because you're steering the conversation. It's really great. And then if you're interested, like go and watch my videos with Rain Song guitars where we talk about the benefits of humidity, about benefits of carbon fiber, because we talk about a lot of things. I even did a demo. I did a demo where I dropped the low E to nothing and it stayed in tune. That would not happen with an acoustic. Haven't touched my Kemper performances for more than 5 years. There you go. They sound great, and now I just need to focus on my playing. Chasing tone can be a real procrastination from developing as a musician. Of course, the gear now is more important to a lot of people than the music. That's just I'm not going to say if I think that's right or wrong, because I clearly have a gear channel and I clearly love gear. I also love music as well, and I understand it's very important. I think that's a great piece of advice, though. Get this pedal that you want. Make the 3 sounds you want. Get some great IRs. Get some great profiles. Dial them in. The best thing I did recently for myself was to get an AB switcher. So what I've been doing is I will plug this in, my real amp, and I will plug in the digital amp, and I'll basically get them as close as I can. And then I'll do this, and I'll see which one do I prefer. And if even one time I choose the digital, I'm done. I am done. And that's my sound. David Belch is going to watch Clayton. Good to see. Yeah, I've gone over my time. I've been on for 2 hours and 10 minutes, but it's been great. Brad is going to bed. Night, Aaron. Night, everyone. Enjoyed the chat. Thanks for being here, Brad. It wouldn't be the same without you. Martin says, love the JBL. Great for practice and playing backing tracks from laptop and playing along. Impressed with the EQ. And there's an update coming for that in a few months. I'll be covering, Martin, where they're actually giving us a new app, which is even better. So look forward to that. I love gear too. Anyone who looks at my guitar rack will know that. Yes. Well, it's very important for us always to remember that the music is why we got into the gear. And the music is, I mean, for me, like writing something, even making a video is much more rewarding than even getting new gear. But the gear is fun. I think one problem now is there's just too much gear, right? There's just too much of everything. Thanks for being here. Your input is appreciated, as is everybody else's. If you want to support my channel, you can use this one here, which is buy me a coffee. If you want to buy me a coffee, I'd appreciate it. All this money is not really going on coffee. I actually quit coffee recently. It will go on gear for the channel. I want to get some more stuff. I just bought the microphones. I plan on going to some guitar stores and doing some remote videos pretty soon, as long as I feel up to it and I've got the right stuff all set up. So look forward to that. Make sure you're subscribed and ring the bell, because like I said, I've got some cool stuff coming. Something really cool in a couple of weeks, which I hope is going to happen. I'll let you know. My new schedule is Monday, Thursday, Sunday at 4 p.m. EST, unless you hear otherwise from me. So I hope to see you again on Sunday. Enjoy the rest of the week. And if you've got any friends that like gear, please share this with them to help me get to my 9,000 subscribers. So thanks everyone for your time. I can't believe we were here for 2 hours, 10 minutes, but it is fun to talk about this stuff and there's a lot to be said. So that's cool. All right. Take care. See you next time. Stay tuned. Bye-bye.